So why does it never work? And every player goes through it. It doesn't matter what standard you are. That is the reality. And it doesn't matter what you're correcting, from wrong to perfect. Never works. And I'll say it again, you know, all these quick fixes, keep your head down and still, your left arm straight, turn your hips and your shoulders, elbow over there, change your grip. I mean, it might work for a bit, not long though. To make a change, you've got to shock your body and do the complete opposite.
In and over the top, that's it.
To truly reprogram and reset. Because the muscle memory is underestimated, and you've been practicing your swing faults more than anything else. Now, a good place to start is with the slicers, the pullers, the duffers, the toppers, the shankers that lose massive amounts of club head speed, power and control. Because believe it or not, they're from the same over the top, out in family. Now on the other side of the spectrum you've got the other family, and they're the guys that get trapped on the inside, that snap hook it left or push it straight right. You know, and they miss it both sides, left, right. It's powerful, but often in the wrong direction.
That's in, over, exactly.
Now to correct the hookers and the pushers, you've just got to do the complete opposite to that of the slicers.
It's a cracking shot, mate. That's exactly what I mean. You've got to exaggerate it. It's cleared the bunker and everything, that's massive, yeah.
Now forget the hookers for a minute. Let's assume you're from the out, in, over the top slicer family, which does this loop. So what happens is this inside movement with the club head is going to have to lift at some stage. And generally the momentum of the swing forces the club head to loop on the outside on the way down.
It sort of gets this way, and then from here there's nowhere to go apart from lifting it. So I lift it and then my right elbow gets sort of up and across, and the club gets across the line, and then it's just not a very consistent pattern. You can play with it.
Now if you're a player that swings back too much on the inside and loops the club head back on plane, then I don't have a problem with that.
Hey guys, nice book. Can I have a look? Ugh.
That's fine, I wouldn't touch it, it's not wrong. And it all matches up well and fits you perfectly. Somebody's getting married in the morning. See, match up, fits perfectly. It will, it'll all be right, it'll be right, it'll be right. But let's say that your loop is sending you from outside to in, over the top. And you're slicing, pulling, and maybe even shanking. Now to correct it, you've got to do the complete opposite sequence and motion. And that is a big wedding, I tell you. Some bells going off there. Whereby the club head stays outside of your hands, halfway back. And then the momentum drops the club head back down behind you on the inside on the way down. Which is how most tour players do it these days. You know, it's how the modern swing is taught. And as I mentioned earlier, it's great and all, but you know, it doesn't fit and doesn't work for everyone.
So for me, what's really simple, I just try to keep the club in front of me, and then from there it works up on the right plane, and then it makes the downswing easier. So.
Now as a coach, you've got to tread carefully on this one, because you can instantly kill a talent if you press the wrong buttons at the wrong time, which tends to happen far too often, if you ask me. So how do we relate this to other sports and natural movements, and how the club head moves around your hands. Now in tennis, we naturally draw the racket back like this from a position outside of the hands. Then as we play a forehand, the racket kicks back behind the hands. And baseball is the same. The bat starts back from a position outside of the hands, then kicks back behind the hands as we attack the ball. Now if you throw a ball, you'll see the same kind of hand pattern. The ball hand starts in a position in front of your body, but works back to the target and tracks on the inside. Now none of these movements are just a rotation anywhere, in any direction. No, they are a rotation directed to a target. Golf just looks different because you're bending over and the ball is on the ground. But it's the same sequence of movements, just from a bent over position. Remember, from wrong to perfect never works. Cha, 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 cha. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing and liking, and what do? You press that bell thing. I mean, I don't really know how to say this. It's a bit weird, isn't it? I'm not begging for subscribers, but I don't know what it is. But I just, you know, if you think that I'm doing a good job, then please subscribe to the channel and like my stuff. Otherwise, I'm the only one watching it. Now I like to put a basket out of the way but between my pupil and the ball, just as a visual to help them to exaggerate the looping motion. And at first it works best with the feet together. Take the body out and don't hesitate, because you're in great company.
I held him back, but so far the short game has been wonderful.
Now the more up you go, you'll start to feel the club drop under and behind you, and then around your body. And not at full speed, because that just encourages a reflex and you'll snap right back into your swing fault. Now muscle memory for a movement that you've practiced is often underestimated. You know, it's difficult to shake off, and it overrides everything, your brain and everything. So swing at 40 or 50% and exaggerate the loop. From this exaggerated loop, you can work back to square again, but it's a process. So you go from wrong to totally overshoot, and then you work back to straight again. And that is how relearning a movement works. Now this is something close to my heart, because this is something that my second son Sevi falls into. Okay, good swing. That's it. Yeah, great shot that. And what he does is, all of a sudden he loses massive amounts of club head speed, power and control, and then he goes and throws a shank in there. Now once you start to get the feel for it, you'll really exaggerate the loop in your practice swing. Then normally all you need to do is to widen your stance and put a normal swing on it. Now the exaggerated practice swings reprogram your muscle memory, and then your normal live swing will start to blend together with these new movements. This is the power of exaggeration. The change and correction process is much quicker. You know, and in my eyes, this is the only way to correct a golf swing, because your swing fault will come straight back, be it tomorrow or in 3 weeks' time. Now once you feel like you own the movement and the movement is truly yours, then you can start to add speed.
Right, I want to see some speed. Speed, speed, speed. Out, in, speed. Wow, that's a great shot, mate. So out, in, good. Now stand in, normal swing. I want to see some speed. Go for it. It's a cracking shot, mate. Perfect.
Now if you're from the other family and you're a hooker or a pusher with the opposite loop, then you've got to swing the club head back on the inside, lift up and over in the downswing to get anywhere near to square. Obviously this all depends on what you're doing in the backswing, but I'm assuming here that you're swinging too far away from your body in the backswing, you're getting disconnected, which is often the case.
On the inside, so try a swing now, in and over the top. That's it. And again, in, over. More. Yeah. That's it. And again. Really exaggerate it. In, over.
Now this is something I have to do with my eldest son Hugo, because he drops it down deep on the inside and can get trapped and stuck if he overdoes it. And this is the challenge when you're coaching junior golfers. I mean, he really shot up over the last year. So now with his newfound long levers, his long arms and long legs, are forcing him to get too flat in the backswing and drop it down on the inside too deep on the downswing. It's powerful, but 300 meters in the wrong direction is not the best way to score. I like to see a bit of fire there, a bit of passion, but it can be really frustrating, as you probably know yourself. Every golfer goes through rough patches, but that's the challenge, and that's part of growing as a player. I mean, you'll see, even though he's trying, he can't get his downswing and his live swing anywhere near over the top or from the outside.
Perfect. I'll try and hit a shot the same feeling. Great shot, mate. Perfect. You got it. So you have to exaggerate the feeling to get anywhere near to straight. You got it, you got it.
It's just a feel for him to integrate into his live swing and then to blend it into a more neutral movement.
It's a great shot, that. Perfect.
You will really improve, but it takes time and dedication until you fully own the movements, and it can be really frustrating. Everything has got to match up. The swing direction, the control over the club face, and the correct sequence of body movements. And I know you're not going to do it because you're too good for all these things. But 9 times out of 10, this is the root cause of all your problems. Do a stance and alignment check. And I don't mean on a driving range mat. I mean in a real life playing situation. I mean, you can talk about rotations and angles until the cows come home. But the root cause of your swing fault is that you're standing wrong in relation to the target and you're fighting to get back to react to the target. Perfect. Just do it. And if your lesson doesn't start with a stance and alignment check, then you want to ask, why not? There's a right and a wrong in the universe. And that's the big red flashing light.
Now this is Leo, and he's going to smash it. He's going to smash it. Come on, come on. Nice early morning. Yeah, great shot that, mate. That's perfect, that.
I can feel it somewhere inside, haunting, like a drug I keep on wanting. A love so perfect it's hard to believe.
I can feel it somewhere.
What was that supposed to be?
Haunting, like a drug I keep on wanting. There's a love that fits so perfect it's hard to believe. There's a reason I can feel my heart stop beating.